Fit In Fine at Your Places. I'm Priyanka Bish from Arden Progressive School. Today in this session, we'll be starting with the second chapter of business studies, which is forms of business organization. As in the previous chapter, we have studied about what is the business, what are the business activities and classification of business activities. So as we know, business is basically an occupation where the people are engaged in working business economic activities so that they can earn profit, and those economic activities includes production, purchases, sale of goods and services. So here we'll be studying about the types of business organization. Business organization are basically of three types: public sector, private sector and joint sector. So here we'll be studying about the types of private sector enterprises. So we'll start with the very first form of business organization, which is sole proprietorship. Now sole here means one and proprietor means owner. So by sole proprietorship we mean it refers to a business organization which is owned, managed and controlled by an individual who is the recipient of all the profits and bearer of all risk. So by this we can conclude that sole proprietorship is a form of business organization which is owned by a single owner, that is known as sole proprietorship. Now features of sole proprietorship is, first is formation and closure. So there are no legal formalities required to start and close sole proprietorship firm, because there is no separate law governing this form of business. Only in some case a license must be required, but otherwise forming and closing sole proprietorship business is a very simple process. That means anyone can start sole proprietorship form of business organization without any formalities. Second is liability. Now liability means the amount which we have to pay to the outsiders. So in sole proprietorship firm, the proprietor is personally liable for all the debts of the business organization. So as we know, this is a type of organization which is owned by a single person. That means in case of business losses, if the business assets are not sufficient to meet all the business liabilities, then in this case the proprietor may have to sell his personal property to pay off the liabilities. So here we can say the liability of a sole proprietor is unlimited. Now third feature is sole risk bearer and profit earning. So as we know, sole proprietorship form of business organization is owned and controlled by a single owner. That means that single person is responsible for the whole risk of the business organization, as well as he is also the sole beneficiary of all the rewards which is earned by the company. So this means whatever profit is earned by the company or the business organization, that all profit is enjoyed by a single owner. Also, the single owner is responsible for all the losses beared by the firm. So he or she alone bears the risk of the business as well as the loss suffered by the business. Next is single control, or we can say one man control. As sole proprietor is the single owner of the firm and he has full control over it. So the ownership and the management lies in the hand of one person only. Although some persons or manager they may employ some other persons also to help the owner, but ultimate controls lies with the sole trader himself. Now next is no separate entity. So here a sole proprietorship has no legal entity separate from that of its owner, which means the owner and the sole proprietorship firm, they both are same. Law makes no difference between the owner and the enterprises, and the business and the owner exist together. So here, as we know, no legal formalities are required to start the business. In the same way, there is no legal identity which is separated from owner and the business. Next we have lack of business continuity. Now here we know business and the owner are one. So death, insolvency, incapacity, ailment of that person will have direct effect on the business. So here lack of business continuity also mean perpetual succession, which means if the owner of the business due to some reason dies, so it may affect its business because that business is controlled and managed by a single owner. There can be one more feature of sole proprietorship, that is small size. Sole proprietorship firms operate on a very small scale as all the funds are arranged by one person. Total management and controls lies with the one person only. So sole trader can arrange limited funds and has limited managerial ability. Therefore, the scale of operation is generally limited. So these were some features of sole proprietorship. Now next we have some merits and limitations of sole proprietorship firm, or we can call it as advantages and disadvantages. So let's talk about the advantages first. So first advantage of sole proprietorship is sense of accomplishment. As we know, in sole proprietorship there is only one owner. So here there is a personal satisfaction involved in working for oneself. The success in business not only contributes to self-satisfaction, but it also instills in the individual a sense of accomplishment and confidence. When the business starts earning more profit, so it makes a sense of accomplishment and confidence in a owner. Second is quick decision making. So in sole proprietorship firm, as all the decisions are taken by a proprietor himself, so he is not supposed to consult anyone and waste time. So by this, quick decisions can be taken. By quick decision, immediate action can be taken, which brings flexibility of operations, and there is no delays, and business can quickly adapt itself to the changing environment. Next is confidentiality of information. So the sole proprietor is not expected to share his secrets with others because there is no legal compulsion for a sole proprietor to publish his accounts. As we have already studied that the sole proprietorship has no separate legal entity from its owner. Therefore, sole trader is not necessary, it's not required to publish its accounts. Now all the decisions are taken by the proprietor, so it becomes easy for him to maintain secrecy and get better competitive strength. Next is direct incentive. So in sole proprietorship firm, there is direct relation between the efforts and reward, which means if proprietor puts extra efforts, then profit will increase and proprietor will get extra income. So proprietor is always motivated to work extra to get extra reward. So here extra efforts results to extra reward, which is fully enjoyed by the proprietor himself. Next is ease of formation and closure. So as we have already studied, it is very easy to form a sole proprietorship organization as no legal formalities are required in setting up this type of organization. So it is not governed by any specific law. The sole proprietor can close the business whenever he desires without any legal formality, and it can be closed by paying back its debts. So ease of formation becomes easy in case of form of sole proprietorship. So these were some merits of sole proprietorship firm. Now we will talk about limitations of sole proprietorship. So first limitation is unlimited liability. As we know, the sole proprietor is personally liable for all the debts, because in case of heavy losses, the proprietor will not only lose all his business assets, but he may have to sell his personal property to pay back its debts. So liability of proprietor in case of sole proprietorship firm is unlimited, because he is the only owner of the business and he manages the activities of the business. So all the losses of the business will also be borne by sole owner. Next is limited life of a business concern. So here the survival and the continuity of sole proprietorship firm depends upon one person only, and if the proprietor falls ill or becomes insolvent, then the business may come to an end. So here we can say the life of a business is limited because it is totally dependent upon the owner. So if the owner dies or become insolvent, it will affect the business. Next limitation is limited resources. So as we know, in sole proprietorship firm, finance is supplied by the proprietor himself from his wealth or from the borrowings. So there is a limit to the credit raising capacity of a single person. A single person does not have so much of money. Either he may be having from his wealth, or he may borrow the money from the bank. So this reduces the scope for business growth, because the funds are not sufficient for medium scale or large scale business. That is why the sole proprietorship firm is operating in a small scale. Now the last limitation is limited managerial skills. So in sole proprietorship firm, all the activities are performed by a single individual, and a single individual cannot be expert in all the fields. He may be a good salesperson but not a good manager. So it is difficult to find all the skills and expertise in one person only. And sole proprietor generally cannot afford to appoint specialized and expert employees. So here the proprietor is overburdened with too many tasks. So here we can say that in sole proprietorship form of business, the managerial skill of the sole owner is limited. So these were some limitations of sole proprietorship. Here is the second form of business organization, which is partnership. So partnership is basically a popular form of business for small scale and medium scale business, as sole proprietorship was popular for only small scale. But here partnership is popular for both small scale as well as medium scale business. So as the size of business grows, one person is not enough to carry on the managerial activities. Therefore, two or more persons form partnership to carry on the business. So this form of business starts to overcome the problem of sole proprietorship. So by this we can say partnership is the relation between the persons who have agreed to share the profits of the business carried on by all, or any of them acting for all. So partnership is basically a relation between two or more persons. It can be formed with minimum 2 persons. Now how partnership is formed? Partnership is formed by an agreement. A written or verbal agreement which states the terms and conditions like profit sharing ratio, capital contribution, status of partners, location, types of business, etc. So here the partnership exists with the agreement only, and this agreement can be in written or oral. So here, if the partnership exists with a written agreement, it is known as partnership deed. So by partnership deed we mean it is the written agreement which specifies the terms and conditions that governs the partnership. So basically all the terms and conditions are mentioned in a written agreement called partnership deed. Now let's see what are the terms and conditions which are mentioned in the partnership deed. So first is name of the firm, then nature of business, duration of business, location of business, capital contribution by the partners, profit sharing ratios, duties and obligations, salaries and commission, interest on capital, drawings, loans to partners, and interest on drawings. So these are some terms and conditions which are mentioned in partnership deed, and it is a written agreement. So now we'll be discussing about the features of partnership. First feature is formation. Now the partnership firm of business is governed by Indian Partnership Act 1932. So here this form of business organization is governed by Indian Partnership Act, which was enacted in the year 1932. It comes into existence by legal agreement between the partners, and that written agreement is known as partnership deed. So in this agreement all the terms and conditions of partners, profit sharing ratios, all these are specified. We can say the partner must enter into agreement for carrying a lawful business run with the motive of earning profit. So this is how partnership is formed. It is formed by an agreement which is governed by Indian Partnership Act. Second, we have unlimited liability. Now the liability of all the members of partnership firm is unlimited because the partners are individually and collectively liable to pay back the debts of the firm, which means At the time of loss, if the firm's assets are not sufficient to pay back the debts, then the creditors can have claim over the personal properties of the partners also. Therefore, we can say the liability of each partner in a partnership firm is unlimited. Next is risk bearing. So as we know, in sole proprietorship firm only one person has to bear the risk, whereas in partnership firm all the partners share the risk in the same ratio as they share the profit. So the sharing of risk motivates the partner to undertake riskier projects and earn more profit. So by this we can conclude that every partner of the partnership firm has to bear the risk in the ratio as they are sharing the profit. Next is decision making and control. So all the partners are allowed to manage the partnership firm. They may specify the work area of each partner in the partnership deed also. So generally, day-to-day management is carried on by one or two partners, whereas for crucial decisions, all the partners are consulted. So we can say the decision in the partnership firm is made by all the partners and all the partners can control the partnership firm. Next we have continuity. So the partnership firm continues till all the partners desire to continue it. So legally it comes to an end at the retirement or death of any partner, which means if any partner gets retired or he becomes insolvent, then it may affect the business may come to an end. Now, even after the retirement and death also, the partnership firm can continue if all the remaining partners agree. So in that case, they settle the claim of outgoing partner and then continue with the business. Next we have membership. So here any partner can become the partners of the firm when he brings some amount of capital in the firm. So by contributing the capital in a firm, any person can become a partner. Next we have mutual agency. So every partner is the owner as well as the agent of the firm and agent of other partners. The act of one partner are binding on other partners and each partner is entitled to take part in the management and enter into the contract with outsiders. The contract signed by one partner is binding on the other partner. So here we can say there is a mutual agency relationship between the partners. So now we'll be discussing about the merits and limitations or advantages and disadvantages of partnership. First we'll talk about the merits of partnership. So first merit is easy of formation and closure. It is very easy to form partnership firm as no legal formalities are required to be completed. Even the registration of partnership firm is not compulsory according to the Partnership Act. So we can say here that the partnership firm is easy to form and it can be enacted through an agreement, and that agreement can be written or oral. Second, we have balanced decision making. So in partnership, the partners can divide the work according to their skills and knowledge, and the division of work leads to the specialization and efficiency in the management and other activities of the firm. So we can say in partnership firm there is balanced decision making. Third one is more fund. So in partnership firm, all the partners contribute some amount of capital. As a result, the financial resources of the partnership firm are larger than sole proprietorship firm. So here more funds can be invested in the partnership firm as more partners comes and joins the partnership firm by bringing some amount of capital with them. Next we have sharing of risk. So in sole proprietorship firm, we know only one person has to bear the risk, whereas in partnership firm, all the partners share the risk in the same ratio as they share the profits. Next is secrecy. So the partnership firm is not required to publish its account. Therefore, all the operations or all the affairs of the partnership firm remains secret. On the other hand, all the activities of the partnership firms are carried on by the partners. Only they take all the major decisions, so there are no chances of leakage of trade secrets. Next, we have some limitations of partnership. First is unlimited liability. As we know, the liability of the partners is unlimited, which means in case of losses of the firm, the partners will not only lose their business property, but the creditors can claim over their personal property also. So here it means whenever the business suffers the loss, then the partners will have to sell their personal property also to pay off its debts and to overcome the loss of the business. Next is limited resources. So there is restriction on number of partners, and hence contribution in terms of capital investment is not sufficient for large scale enterprise. Now here there are some restriction in number of partners also. As minimum there can be 2 partners and maximum there can be 50 partners. So here restriction of number of partners, it results into the less financial resources, due to which the partnership cannot work on a large scale. So here as a result, partnership face problems on expansion beyond a specified size. Next is possibility of conflict. Now the partners who are working in a partnership firm, they come from different backgrounds, different families, therefore they may have differences of opinion. So if partners adopt a rigid attitude, then it may lead to the conflict among the partners. This is one of the limitation of partnership. Then lack of continuity. So as we know, the existence of partnership firm gets affected by the death, insolvency or incapacity of any one partner. That means even a partner can demand dissolution of the firm anytime if he desires so. So if any partner gets retired or any partner demand dissolution, the partnership firm comes to an end. Next we have lack of public confidence. The public has set less trust and faith in partnership firm because the accounts and annual reports of partnership firms are not published. So people do not have trust in their dealings. So these were some merits and demerits of partnership form of business organization. So in this session, we have learned about what are the forms of business organization, and we have discussed the 2 forms of business organization, sole proprietorship and partnership. In the next session, we'll be discussing some more forms of organization. That's all for today. Thank you.